Thank you, Tom, for that call. We're going to stay on the phone lines, folks. 844-580-9326. That's 844-580-9326. Call in and be part of the program. We're going to go to Bernie in Orlando, who's got a question about his 2004 Silverado. Bernie, you're on with the Magic Mechanic.
Hello, Larry. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Bernie.
So I have an '04 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, 243,000 miles. I have a rear door Ajar light that came on in the message center.
Mm-hmm.
I went and cleaned up because it was an original latch, cleaned that up, still got the same message. I have replaced the whole latch assembly, still have the same message.
Okay. Does that particular rear is there a particular rear door on that vehicle that gets used a lot?
It's actually the door that gets used the least.
The least, okay. The reason that I have to ask that question is usually if we're going to have a problem, with a rear door, it's usually the one where somebody's opening it up to let their dog in the same time they climb in.
It's actually the opposite door.
Well, I'll tell you, in a case like that, we would probably have to put the Tech 2 on it, which is the GM scan system. And what we would have to do, Bernie, is we've got different functions that we can go into. We can go into body control, and we can find out what the body control module is actually reading as far as door latch information goes. There could be an issue with the where the wires actually bend. There is flex that takes place in that wiring harness that runs into the door every time it's open and closed. Some vehicles it's more severe than others. Most of them last a lifetime without ever having a problem, but there is those few that we will get where a wire has actually bent open and closed, to the point where you'll get a broken wire, But we would have to look at that, on a scan tool in order to be able to see what is exactly going on. If not, it's as you could well imagine, it'd be a wild goose chase. You could pull every wiring harness in the truck out and separate it and pull the insulations off and start looking, and maybe not find anything. But you have to be able to start somewhere, and we would need to see what the body control module on the vehicle is actually reading as far as that goes. I'm sure that there's going to be something there to kind of give us some sort of an idea of where to look. But if you put a new latch in it, I don't think that one has to be relearned. So many of the newer vehicles, if you replace something like a door latch, it has to be married to your computer before it'll actually read it correctly. And I don't believe that the 04, I don't think that was required on that vehicle. You should be able just to, replace the part and be done with it, and it'll read it like it's supposed to. Did you, before you put this all back together, did you by chance just plug it in to see if that made any difference in the light itself with the door closed?
I did, and actually even before what took me to the module, to the door latch, was I just went in and unplugged the cables, and the message went away.
Okay. Where did you get this new latch at?
I went through one of the box stores for the OEMs.
Okay. Was it an AC Delco or a GM part?
No, it wasn't. It was an aftermarket.
Okay. Was it a Napa?
It was.
You can mention the name.
Not Napa's, but it was O'Reilly's.
Okay. Do you remember the manufacturer's name of the part?
Not off the top of my head, no. Okay. And the box is gone.
Okay. Standard and some of those other companies, even Dorman makes some pretty good products. But some of the stuff you wind up with is just cheap junk, and I mean it is pathetic what we go through as far as trying to get. It's not just getting parts; it's getting good parts. And in a case like that, there's some time involved in replacing that door latch switch. And, you get a lousy part, my guys are flat rate techs. I mean, they can't afford to sit there and start taking this stuff on and off and losing hour after hour of shop time. They gotta be productive, and it's gotta work when they're done with it. And they really can't stand back and deal with a lot of lousy parts. But it sounds like that's what you wound up with. If you disconnected it and the light went off, I think there's a problem with that switch. Either that or it's out of adjustment or something, and it's not reading that the door's shut enough or something. There could be maybe a striker out of adjustment a little bit, something along those lines. But that door latch switch, that indicates whether the door is cracked, open, or partly open or closed. It sounds like. And then there's really no adjustment on that. So I mean, all you can do is bolt it in and plug it in and hope for the best. So
no, I've tried the adjustment and it wasn't there.
Yeah, if it was me at the shop, really the only thing I could do is try another one. If you disconnected it and the light went out, that's telling me that circuit's okay. I don't think there's a problem with the circuit. And you've only got one other choice to pick from, and that's a bad part. Bernie, thanks for your call, buddy.
Try it. I'll take the switch back and swap it out. Thank you for your time.
Let's see what happens. Let me know what you find, and I'd like to know who the manufacturer of that part was. It'd be good conversation for another show. Thanks for your call, Bernie.
All righty.
Uh-huh.